want to grow and expand, not contract. So please please.
Subtle judgment right there. Did you see that? And you think you're still in the phase that you think you need control as a way to heal. But it definitely does not encompass people who are autistic, people who have ADHD or are on the spectrum. Like, our minds don't work this way. You can't, I feel very compelled to share this with you. I'm going to tell you before we jump right into reacting to Marissa Peer, kind of why I want to do this react. Um, there's a lot of people and gurus and concepts that float around right now that has a lot of traction because they're very enticing ideas and methods and what would you call them, dogmas, even on kind of like the law of manifestation, like what Marissa does with sort of empowerment through hypnosis and whatever the mind believes the mind can achieve. It's all mind, mind, mind with her. And I'm not critiquing her as a person. I feel that she has some of her motivation is genuinely to help people. But at the same time, we have to talk more about this because it's not the whole picture. We'll get into it here.
Video is about something remarkable, a lesson in how you can influence how your body heals. I'm going to show you how you can command your body to heal itself.
So to command your body to heal itself, a little bit of backstory for me, where I'm coming from with my own experience, not just as a psychic medium, but I have been through chronic illness for many years. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. Looking back on it now, it was a major blessing in a way because it sort of prevented me from going down a certain path in my life that was just not for me. I didn't know it was not for me until after the fact. But this is a broader point I want to make. Some people are supposed to be sick. I know this is going to sound really controversial, but it doesn't have to be. From a spiritual perspective, from a metaphysical perspective, everything has a purpose and a reason. But it bothers me when people like her say that all we have to do is this. And it acts like we have this sort of universal technology, this universal remote, which is a false concept. It's really, really enticing, though, because we all really want to believe it. And here's the thing, it might work for a lot of people, or at the very least, a lot of people will have a confirmation bias while using it, and therefore you could argue it helps them. So, sort of like a placebo effect. But the thing is, there's a couple of presuppositions that she makes that don't sit right with me, and they don't sit right with you either if you're sensitive and you can kind of feel into this. It's always hard to talk sort of against these ideas and these narratives that are very popular in culture today and are very marketable because there's a huge weight of people who are desperate, people who believe it, people who have confirmation bias with it, and also the people who monetize it and benefit from it directly, like Marissa herself. So there's all of this power and influence behind something like that that can very easily gang up on you if you're a voice that critiques that or wants to speak up and say, hey, this is not the full truth. So,
And pervasively. You see, almost 2 years ago, I was in London Christmas shopping and I got run over in a pedestrianised road of all places. A car hit me in the back, knocked me over, and then ran over my leg. And my leg and ankle were fractured in 16 different places.
before she goes on with this, I will listen to what her experience is. Um, but going back to where my credentials are with this, I had autoimmune disease, and without getting too deep into it, it's a big topic. Lyme was involved, a lot of infections that are happening at the same time was involved. Basically, your immune system kind of shatters, and everything that is kind of like floating around in you, benign from years ago, or anything that you might happen to get a whiff of or exposed a small bit of, will send big reactions in the immune system, including what you eat, everything else. There's also a metaphysical connection to it. It's sort of like if you're a sensitive person like I am, and you reach like critical mass of what you're you can no longer tolerate, that you've been tolerating your whole life. For me, it was not being heard, not being understood, and not knowing how to navigate boundaries, especially when they are violated by all sorts of people in your life. And it's your immune system basically saying, going on full alert, like, we're going to attack literally anything that gets within an inch of you, or anything that looks at you the wrong way. It overreacts. That's not to say anything's wrong though, because that's in itself an intelligent design. It's you defending yourself. It's you no longer tolerating what is intolerable. And that's the piece that seems to be missing from these types of narratives. It's always about like, what are you not doing, or what are you doing that's not in alignment? It's always on you as the one experiencing the so-called issues that you're experiencing it. It's almost like a very subtle form of gaslighting. And the reason I'm coming at it with this angle is from my own experience. I was actually hypnotized by someone who was trained by Marissa, and I do appreciate the work that she does, but I also have to call a spade a spade. I feel like that's sort of my duty. It's what I'm most devoted towards, is authenticity. And especially in a world where you have like some authenticity mixed in with other incentives and other sort of powers at play that I don't like. And I'm on the spectrum. That's another point I want to make. She talks about the mind a lot. And she's written many books about how you can program the mind. But what she's missing is, what is this the mind? There's more than one type of mind. Are you talking about neurotypical people? Or are you talking about neurodivergent people? Because we are wired quite differently. So you can't really, with one broad stroke of the brush, paint everybody in the same color and say that this is a one size fits all. That's the marketing. That's the enticement part of it, which is unethical, if you ask me, because it gives the implication that this can work for everybody, even if they give some sort of mild half but form of disclosure or whatever. They still know what they're doing. They're pandering to this concept, right, chicken? I don't know if you can hear that, or you can edit that out, babe. um can you not distract me, babe? Thank you. In the flow. um so that's what bothers me a bit about this, or actually more than a bit, because of the that's the part that's missing from this topic in modern culture. People tend to focus on and get blinders, as I did, especially when we're extremely desperate and vulnerable and we need answers and we're very sick individuals. But she sort of, and you'll see, I'll sort of play it here.
And in that moment, it was obviously very painful. I went off to hospital, but I was always very positive. Even then, I believed that I'd just go home that day. But doctors said, no, you can't walk for 6 months. You're probably going to have a limp.
There's another thing too. Sometimes you can just feel stuff that you don't have any rhyme or reason to explain for. Ever since I saw her for the first time, there was always something a bit off to me. Um, Heck, I'll say it. I'm getting the green light from my guides. I feel like personally she has control issues. So if there's anybody who knows her personally, they might agree with me, but they're definitely not going to do that publicly. She's a very controlling person, it feels like. I grew up with very controlling, very narcissistic people in my life. I'm not saying she's a narcissist. She might have a history of narcissism and been working on that. But I just get the sense that she's not a very inviting person in her life. She's a very clinical person, very diminutive in the sense that she will assign you diagnoses and roles. It's very, very Freudian in a sense. That's the feeling I get. But it feels dark. It feels very witchy and not in the best way. Um, yeah. Let me know if you feel this too. Psychics and sensitives in the audience.
You might have one leg shorter than the other. You'll never be able to wear heels and you're going to have arthritis for the rest of your life. But just 6 weeks later, I was able to walk again, not perfectly, of course, but I could get around. I couldn't take.
And I mean, she tries to hide it. That's the thing too. People do their best to hide it. Some people are very good at it, but you can't really hide things with me. And I know there's a lot of people out there who are the same way. It's just most of us are afraid or scared to say anything because we'll get the hammer of society, the wrath of ridicule smacked down on us by these gullible people, these followers, these almost religious zealots. And the thing is, I have compassion for them, and so do you. That's what makes it so hard because they need help, they want help, and you know how that feels. And it's so easy just to say, oh, here's your solution, here's this pill, right? All you have to do is reprogram your mind. All you have to do is change yourself. The implication being you've got something wrong with you. It's not the whole truth though. It's not even close.
6 months of being immobile. So I commanded my body to heal. I commanded my left foot to use my right foot. I had an amazing doctor who told me the ligaments have to knit together. You've got to create new bone cells. He really believed in me.
I know this is just a anecdote from her, and I'll give you an anecdote as well. But let's give her the benefit of the doubt with this. Maybe she experienced this, and maybe this is her own healing. Who's to say that someone else with the same circumstances as her, with the same conditions as her, but with their own life, does everything that she's purporting to do? They're commanding, they're hypnotizing themselves, they're doing let's say they follow every instruction that she has to a T. And let's just say what if it doesn't work for them? You never hear from those. There's a video I want to react to also. We could segue in here and make a great segue. This comedian turned socio-political commentator. And he talks about this. It's like the confirmation bias. A lot of these like hustler, positive mindset, affirmational, like you be your own CEO, boss gal kind of channels only interview the people who have succeeded, but they'll never interview the ones who haven't. And maybe these people who failed have done everything that these other CEOs have done that have just succeeded. And you can patch it up to luck, but this being a spiritual channel, I'll tell you that sometimes people just aren't meant to experience certain things. Some people are not meant to heal in a certain way because they need to learn something from that whole process. So it's a bit demeaning of her. I don't think she intends to do this, so she's realizing that she might be doing this. But it's sort of like poo-pooing you if you happen to do this and it doesn't work for you. Because obviously something must be wrong, right? Obviously. That's the implication. It's subtle. It's very, very subtle. And that's why this is such a tricky thing to talk about because even with covert narcissists, they'll do this. They'll make these subtle little arguments that seem like airtight on the outside, but are actually really manipulative in the subtlest of ways.
And he helped me believe that I could do it. You see, we have an immense power to command our bodies to heal. The body is receptive to specific words that are commanded. especially if you're doing this in hypnosis when the critical factor shuts down and your mind lets these things in. Have you ever said, I've got the worst flu, I'm always sick?
Well, here's the thing that kind of irks me too. Like a lot of our speech, especially if you're autistic or if you're even ADHD, neurodivergent, we will describe things as they are. It's a bit like this argument of which came first, the chicken or the egg. Like if we're describing what we've already experienced, are we then manifesting that into experience? It's very lazy and convenient argument to say like this is happening because you're speaking it into existence. Okay, did the chicken hatch first or did the hen lay the egg first? Right? So it's just it's not really an argument. It's an appeal to desperation, to you really wanting it to be true. It sounds like, oh, this is what I've been missing all along, and it resonates with people who have shame, who have doubts in their own lives, and it's a little sinister. It's like using the same vibration. If you this is actually a good case for saying, vibrate like vibrations attract like. So she's putting it out there in a subtle way, basically kind of gaslighting people and resonating with the people who have that uh, doubt, self-doubt, by saying something that's subtly uh, very, it promotes self-doubt.
I get every illness going. I've got seasonal allergies. My immune system is terrible. My metabolic rate is useless. Because
Gonna
if
have
you're
to do some
saying
heavy editing on
that,
this
you're
one.
missing something. Your body's job is to make your thoughts real, and your job is to think better thoughts. So I understand exactly.
So like everybody, you thinks this is a fucking dinner bell. Like, I'm recording now.
But you should have said that while it's playing. No,
What?
like you're gonna do some editing on it, and then Marissa's video is
It's okay.
playing.
We can cut. We don't have to show all of her. She's saying a lot. So also, I want to say that in my own healing experience, I was right along there with her, and I've tried lots of things like this. I was really big into manifestation for years, and I did all the practices. I tried all the tricks. I was devoted. I mean, for years. I've been sick with autoimmune disease for 12 plus years now. So and I was getting into this stuff before it became like clique or mainstream. And I saw it grow in popularity. And it really just became a big industry. But you have to ask yourself, how is that any different from big pharma? I mean, are people miraculously healing all over the world? I mean, maybe some are, but what about the people who, Marissa will push to the side? Like she'll dismiss this if she sees this. She'll be, oh, well, that guy, oh, he's not following the program. That's why it's not working for him, right? It's so easy to tag that on to people. Do you see what I mean? Very convenient. That is crafted by design. So I've been through everything. I've tried every diet. I've tried this. I've tried that. I had to experience the sequence of things that I had to experience in order to get deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. Because there's levels much deeper than the body. Body is just a vessel for the soul. That's all it is. And you know, it houses our experiences. It allows us to experience the world through our senses. And that's a critical thing for our souls to evolve. But she sort of alludes to that a little bit, but not really. So, message, but let's continue.
By liking and subscribing. If you like and subscribe, I can let you know what else is coming up to help you grow. We always want to grow and expand, not contract. So please like, please subscribe.
Subtle judgment right there. Did you see that? She's framing it. It's marketing 101, but it's the reason I'm so against it is because it goes deeper than morality, because it doesn't speak to the broader truth. It's a sliver of truth. And what good is this kind of truth where you're only focusing on this? because that's the only way that this powerful message can exist in that vacuum. It can't hold up if it zooms out and it looks at everything else, right? Because what she just basically said was, if you don't ascribe to this, you're not ready for it. It's a little condescending. And it's like, if you don't believe this yet, if this hasn't worked for you, then we need to get you there. But don't worry, we can help you with that. Maybe. But what about the people who don't? And to me, true healers are going to encompass all of that. A true healer is going to tell you when they can't help you or when you need to do something else. And they're not going to take it personal. They're not going to frame it like, you need to do this. This is the way that it has to be done. So that's a little bit of a personal struggle with me too, about trying to mix marketing with the work that I do. Because I've been through all sorts of training modules and um, marketing gurus and specialists and all this and all that, and it's a little sickening, to be honest. And I'm very off put by it as months go by, as years go by. And I know it's like the basic thing that everybody does within the framework, but maybe we need a new framework to reflect actual authenticity, not just lip service to it.
Subscribe. Please write to me and let me know how I can help you. What kind of stuff would you like to hear? What kind of material? And I promise you I'll do it for you. So I created something called
Mics
the
come up here, they're
DIC
up here.
technique. And that means you are going to learn to direct, instruct, code, command, compel your body to heal itself.
You see, this is pure marketing because it speaks to the people who are out of control, who feel out of control, and you think you're still in the phase that you think you need control as a way to heal. But let me tell you, the harder you try to grip, the less you're going to make any sort of spiritual progress. You might convince yourself you're healing. You might fall into her clique. And there was a time where I really believed I was healed. And I was really just in self-denial for years. And it built up and it built up and it built up. I get that sense with her. I feel like she's so in her mind on things that that's all she can really see. So if to her, if it's a mind issue, it's a mind solution, and there's nothing else that encompasses that. And if she says there is, I honestly feel it's just lip service.
Body is very powerful. We know that because of the placebo effect and indeed the nocebo effect. When you use certain words,
Straight from her mouth, actually, we were talking about it earlier. The placebo could just be a placebo, but then you should really open up the discussion for what is the placebo and why is it so meaningful and powerful, instead of, this is my 12-step program and blah blah blah. It's, I'm also hearing right now too, it's sort of like, if you can't beat them, join them kind of thing, because I feel like what I'm seeing right now, maybe even Marissa Peer herself will see my points and resonate with it. But I suppose a lot of people would say, well, that's just how the world works, and that's just what we have to do. It's like, really? Do we? Is that really our condemned limitation? I don't feel like that's true. I don't feel like we have to be like that. We have to operate this way. This is cultural.
in what I call military style language, you can command your body to heal. So I called it the DIC technique: direct, instruct, code, command, compel, condition.
It's just more marketing, right? So she has an acronym, and if you notice too, she's got like registered trademarks and everything. I always found that to be so tacky from healers, and even if that's at the behest of the advisors that a lot of these people have, financial advisors, legal advisors, managers of the sort, who will sort of say along the lines, this is what you have to do to protect your intellectual property and blah, 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 blah. It's all about structure, and it has little to do with healing, and everything to do with sustainability.
create vivid images. The mind does not respond to vague, wishy-washy statements like every day and everywhere I'm getting better and better. It needs to know, what are you getting better at and how are you getting better? The mind needs powerful, specific military-style commands. You see, your body is run by a network of intelligence.
Okay, maybe, but here's the irony. She's talking about there's no power in vague statements, but she's making a very vague statement. Again, the mind. What mind? Neurotypical mind? Yeah, probably what you mean, but it definitely does not encompass people who are autistic, people who have ADHD or are on the spectrum. Like, our minds don't work this way. You can't militantly command your mind and, like, I'm thinking this, I have to think this. I think even for neurotypical people, that might just be total hogwash. Got chickens now, if you see in the cut.
By your mind, and in hypnosis you can go into that network and send different messages out to the body. When you tap into this intelligence, you are exciting your imagination, activating powerful healing. So in order to use the DICCC technique the most effectively, don't wish for what you want, demand it, command it, saying, I wish I could.
So I've been there. I've wished and commanded all you could possibly think. And it doesn't work. It didn't work for me. I don't know if it's on this video or in another video. She's also talking about emotions, that you need to feel the emotions, and then after a while they just go away. It's like, no, they don't. They don't necessarily just go away. A lot of times our emotions are just telling us in a language we don't necessarily understand what is unacceptable. And sometimes we just have to let the unacceptable be just that, unacceptable. Why are we trying to train ourselves to circumvent our own innate senses and sensations and experiences? Why can't they just be what they are? Why does there have to be something wrong with you? But I'll tell you why. Because it's the marketing. She's framing it. She's setting you up so that she's kind of inserting her finger into those wounds that you already have, twisting it and saying, here's my solution. Trust me. Feel that pain? Feel that pain? Here's the pill. Here's the pill. It's right here. It yuck.
Get better is not the same as I command my body to go back to perfect health. You have to use vivid, powerful words. I command my immune system to be super effective. I command my metabolic rate to be perfect. I command my sleep system to be perfect. You also have to be very.
This seems so, again, it's so enticing just to think that it's that simple, that it's this easy. I've been there. I've done this. I was fully brainwashed in uh, in like little circles like this, programs, and so it's very, very alluring.
Very, very specific. So let's think of something. A lot of people have tension headaches. I'm stressed and I get.
Another thing too, she uses really, really powerful words like command you to. It's very controlling, not necessarily powerful. I mean, they are powerful, but more specifically, it's very, very controlling, um, very manipulative at its worst, right? It's like, I command you, body, to do it. It's like, well, if it's unacceptable, if it doesn't work, what then, Marissa? You just have to change your mind. You just have to brainwash yourself to know that what you're feeding your thoughts with are gonna make it happen. But what if it's just as simple as you're observing what's happening and therefore expressing it? Is there any room for that? Of course not. You see how this is so dangerous? This is like, what do they call that in 1982? I'm seeing 1982 right now, like as a book. They're referencing George Orwell. I know it's like groupthink, but it's like the opposite. What do they call that? Someone comment that down below and remind me. It's with George Orwell. It's like a very specific term. How they go in like circles, arguing these ridiculous things.
tension, headache, I'm stressed and my skin breaks out. Your skin is the largest organ in your body. It responds to your thoughts. So imagine you say, my head is always perfect and cool and clear. My skin is perfect no matter what. I have phenomenal coping skills. I can cope with work pressure, family pressure, and I retain a perfect skin or a clear head. Let's imagine.
In fact, actually, I was just reminded of an experience. So I used to do this. I used to tell myself, like, I am healthy, I am successful, and I used to be very specific about it. Like, my car runs perfectly and I get 32 miles per gallon of MPG, and I only have to replace my spark plug every 10 years, something like that. And, you know, do the visualizations, do the affirmations, and I truly believed it. But guess what? Didn't happen. So then it shatters your mind if you do this long term. It causes long term damage to the psyche when you do this, because you should see things how they are. You shouldn't look at things only from this light or only from this negative space. You should see things exactly as they are. And if things are really not so good for you at the moment, they're really not so good for you. If things are great for you, let them be great. But don't gaslight yourself.
Imagine you have a common problem, I can't sleep. And you say, I can't go to sleep and I can't fall asleep. That's not surprising because the brain dislikes intentionally the word falling. We're all born with a fear of falling. That's why babies have that grip and do that when you pick them up. They have that startle reflex in case you drop them. And when you're in bed, where are you going? So here's something magical. You get into bed and you say, I command sleep to come to me. I direct sleep to come to me. I instruct sleep to come to me and to cover me like a blanket. Then you can put it all together. I direct, instruct, code, and compel sleep to come to me and to stay with me until my required wake-up time. And I could say after 8 hours, but sometimes you only have 6 hours. Sometimes you might have 9. So just imagine, close your eyes and imagine saying, I direct, I instruct.
So I had a hypnosis session from someone who was trained directly by Marissa, and great gal. I love her to bits. She's very well intentioned, very beautiful soul, and she's been through a lot too. She's battled cancer and survived. And it's interesting because cancer for me has always been about repressed anger, having no expression, no outlet for anger that's justified. And when, if you try to tell yourself that, I feel this, I am this is how this is, you're denying, if that's not how you feel, if that's not how you are, if things are not that way. So
I code, I compel the most deep, beautiful, restoring, regenerating sleep to come to me and to stay with me until my required wake-up time in the morning. And then I require to wake up feeling wide awake, energized, and focused. You can do it. I did it with my leg, so can you. So use this every day, and you'll be so impressed by the power you have to powerfully influence.
I'm really interested to hear your comments. Please share if you've been through cults or through programs, gurus, this kind of like manifestation type of stuff, and it hasn't worked out for you, or if whatever, just comment whatever. I mean, even if it did work for you. And what I want to say is, like, everything, like, everybody is so unique, and there is no such thing as a one size fits all approach. But unfortunately, framing things as a one size fits all is what works marketing wise, because you let it work. Because these so called healers are, ironically or perhaps unironically, using your very wounds to get to you.
and direct the healing that's going on in your body. And I'd love to hear your experiences and your stories. When you come back to this recording over and over again, share your stories in the comments below. For me and for other people that are reading it too, I love to support you on your healing journey. But if you want someone to personally work with you, someone that I trained that is every bit as good as me.
I just heard this too. She's reading a script. That's one thing that I don't do. I don't script anything. Everything that comes is from the flow, from the channel. That's why it's unpolished, it's raw, it's real, it's authentic. That's how you know it's authentic too.
Me, then I've created a brand new therapy platform called Inner Belief, where you can find an RTT therapy.
So I hope that that was insightful for you. I'm not trying to step on anyone's toes, but at the same time, I am holding her accountable. I'm holding her ideas, her concepts, her implications to the flame of scrutiny, of justice, I heard, and of irrefutable truth. Basically, is it authentic? You tell me, you let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.